Welcome everybody to the AEW Rewind podcast, where we talk all about AEW. My name is Shawn Long,
I'm Justin Bradley.
and Double or Nothing for 2020 is in the books. It was a really good show.
I was speechless after that Stadium Stampede match, but there were so many good matches, man.
Yeah, we're going to get all into that at the end of the show because we could spend almost an eternity talking about that match.
It was just really good to see. It was like something to give wrestling fans some content. Obviously, it was a really good content, like the whole show, especially after what happened this week with the two tragic deaths of wrestlers. And yeah, it was a tough week for wrestlers, but it ended on a good note.
And then on a high note with that Stadium Stampede, that's for sure.
Yep.
So the first match was the buy-in pre-show between the Best Friends and Private Party for the number one contendership.
And I thought this was a solid match. I mean, I didn't think it was amazing, but I didn't think it was bad. It's pretty clear that Private Party still needs some work in the ring. I mean, obviously they haven't really been like they've been wrestling on Dark and stuff like that, but they haven't really wrestled like main competitors in AEW. So
yeah, because it got a little botchy at times.
Yeah, but for a pre-show match, it's better than most pre-show matches we're kind of used to in general from like any wrestling promotion. So I was pretty happy from what I got from it. So
yeah, it was entertaining, really competitive.
Yeah, and
Trent lost his headband, and they thought it was gonna be like a Samson Delilah, like he was gonna lose his powers from the headband.
Yeah, Trent's so good. Chucky T's so good. Like, their team, like I mean, obviously they're gonna get the number one contender spot. Now it's gonna be interesting to see what happens if they win or lose.
Yeah, his Best Friends got the one with the strong zero.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a good match. I kind of figured we predicted Best Friends would win, but well, I could have saw Private Party winning, but they went with the right choice in my opinion.
Yeah. And showed Private Party hit the G9 and like in honor of Crime Time and Shad.
Yeah, that was really cool to see, and yeah, it was a good match. I mean, it was a solid match. We'll just keep it at that. But yeah, I think they're gonna have a really fun feud between Best Friends and Hangman and Omega. So
yeah, it should be an interesting feud to build off from this.
It'll be interesting to watch.
It'll be entertaining to watch because so far the Best Friends are some of the most entertaining like promo givers so far in the company.
And then you got Orange Cassidy and Hangman interactions. I mean, I don't know what more can you ask for right now. So those are like two of the most over people in the company, and they're going to be in a feud together, even though Orange Cassidy's not even like on the team. He's with them. So
yeah, Orange Cassidy just being a part of the Best Friends will give this feud even better, make the feud even better going forward.
Yep.
So then the opening match of the show was the Casino ladder match for the AEW title opportunity.
And this was the right decision. I was kind of like, I wasn't shocked, but I was like, okay, we're really starting off with this. And
it was a great way to start the show because I feel like that's where you get like the most hype for it. Gets you locked in after that.
Yeah, it was just a crazy match. I saw people on social media were kind of like, oh, it was sloppy or whatever, but it's like a ladder match. Like obviously,
ladder matches are sloppy.
Like stuff's gonna everything's happening. So maybe next year it doesn't have to be 9 people. I could see it being less. But also, like there were so many people like involved that weren't in the match that it was kind of like a little overwhelming because you had Penelope and Jimmy Havoc. And then you had Best Friends come out, and then you had Marco Stunt come out, and then it was just like, all right, because that meant like there were like 15 people in the match at one point, not in the match, but like involved. There's a little too many people, but I mean, I really liked what they did, and
yeah, like there were some crazy spots in that usually involved Darby Allin in this match because one of the first things Darby tries to do is do like that ollie kind of thing where he tries to like jump onto his skateboard and then hit on top of someone. But he tries to do Kazarian, who's on top of a ladder, which Kazarian moves, and Darby just goes legs first through the ladder, which, ouch.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't break his legs at all. Or do I mean, he seems to be fine, so that's obviously a good sign. I like with injuries again. It's a good sign that Darby's not hurt because they've had a bad week of injuries. Phoenix was going to be a big part of this match, but I think Joey Janela did play a big. He did fill in the role pretty nicely.
Yeah, it seems like Phoenix's injury was a lot more. I guess was more. What do you call it? It was more like serious than we might have thought it was at first.
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like also with Darby spots, I feel like all of the things that Darby did in this match were basically he would have been the only one who'd probably say it was okay for it to happen.
Oh yeah, he definitely probably wanted to do it. Like he was probably like, I want to do this and this and this, and they were probably like, "Are you sure?" And then it's Darby, so he's crazy. So
Because later when we find out that the surprise member of the match is Brian Cage, who's being teamed with Taz.
as
Darby
I
gets
predicted,
Yeah, which you predicted. Darby gets another crazy spot, which involving him and Brian Cage.
yeah,
Where he was on top of that ladder, and Brian just kind of throws the ladder with Darby on it, and he just goes like crashing into another ladder who's like off on the side.
that looked brutal. But
That was another brutal
that
spot.
was after they buried him, right? Like that was after he got up.
Yeah,
Like
because
they,
that was after everybody buried him with just stuff. I guess.
yeah. So yeah, so what happened? He came in, just started beating everybody up. Showed his athleticism, showed how good of a wrestler he is. Obviously that was just a really small sample size of Brian Cage for the general viewer, and I think they're going to be really shocked at
Yeah,
how
and
good
like
he is.
just by his entrance, he ripped a ladder in half, making his way to the ring.
Yeah, I can't. I've been pounding the table for Brian Cage to go to AEW, and obviously he had an injury, like he was signed back in January. Tony Khan revealed after the show, so it's just they signed him and then he got hurt and then he couldn't wrestle until he had surgery and it got healed and he was cleared in early May. Perfect timing. He showed up with Taz, and now that whole Taz situation makes sense with the whole Darby Allin interviews. People are kind of questioning it, like this is kind of confusing. It doesn't really make sense. Well, now it makes sense. You kind of told me before we started recording about a potential Darby and Brian Cage feud, and I am completely okay with that. I'm ecstatic to see that if that's the direction they're going.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like the thing that will probably happen because it just seems really obvious because Taz was doing that whole thing trying to get him to, I guess, be his mentor.
Yeah,
And then now that Taz is teaming with Brian Cage, it seems pretty obvious that that would be the way to go first. Because also, it would be good to see Brian Cage just kind of throw Darby around more like what he did in this match.
I'm sure though we're gonna see like a Marco Stunt or a Jobber kind of match this week on Dynamite or something like that. Maybe not. I mean, Taz will probably cut a promo and then he'll go beat somebody up or something like that, which will be awesome. But yeah, the only thing I'm kind of cautious on this Darby feud is that I'd imagine Darby would lose because Brian Cage is gonna face John Moxley at Fyter Fest. So, like he's not gonna lose and then have to like that wouldn't it wouldn't make sense. So I just hope they don't damage Darby's character too much from this because he's kind of took a couple losses here with Cody Rhodes and that whole thing. So I just hope he gets some wins under his belt sooner or later.
Yeah, I feel like though right now his thing is that he's like struggling, I guess.
Yeah, and then it will lead to like one huge like freak out or something, which I'd be for, but obviously it's difficult without crowds right now, so I think it probably would be the best thing to do it now because there's no crowds because he's so over. So I don't know how crowds would react to him losing. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited Brian Cage is all elite, as they say. And what a ladder match to start off the real show, I guess. The pre-show is, not the actual show, technically.
Yeah. So after that match is the MJF versus Jungle Boy match.
And this was just a straight up, like, really good wrestling.
I think I forgot to mention was that Brian Cage won the ladder match.
Brian Cage won. He's facing John Moxley at Fyter Fest probably in July. So that's a good match. I can't wait for that feud. That's going to start this week too. So they really did a good job again of getting you looking forward to whenever their next show would be. So I'm excited for Wednesday.
Yes. So moving on to that MJF Jungle Boy match. It was a pretty good match. It was entertaining for what MJF does and what Jungle Boy can do.
Yeah, it was pretty much two of the future stars of the company just going at it, and it was a really solid match. There was some MJF annex which are expected, but it wasn't
like him faking an injury.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Warlow. Did he leave or like was he just like walking around? I didn't see him.
I don't know because MJF won pretty straight clean.
Yeah, I mean it was a roll up kind of thing, but I mean like there was hardly any shenanigans with Warlow. I was kind of I was
kind of
fine.
surprised by that, but
It was really good to see MJF win a match without too many people playing like a role in his victory. Like
yeah. Because it's good that MJF himself can personally get wins without having to get outside interference. Because if you do it too much, then he just kind of relies on it.
Yeah,
but you need to get over the fact that he's still really a good competitor and can be really athletic when he needs to be.
Yeah, and that what was that move? Hurricane Rana, I think it was. Or I don't know. He took a head bump off the side of the ring from Jungle Boy, and that was brutal. And he
it was. I think it was a Poison Rana that was like
Poison
on
Rana.
the ring apron. They just kind of spiked into the ground.
Head straight back, and then he like somehow he landed it, and then he just slowly fell back, and his eyes were wide open, like staring at the sky.
Yeah, that was a pretty brutal spot, I have to say.
Yeah.
And both of them were again like trading chops at one point. They were both just slapping each other like real hard.
Yeah, and a major focus of this match was Jungle Boy's arm, and they really did a good job of selling that. MJF, they would do those chest slaps, and then MJF would just act like he was doing a chest slap and just slap him in the arm, the injured arm. And they did a lot of good like reversal moves in the beginning of the match where they kept like following up each other's moves, and then they'd have a stare down. It was a really, really, really good match, and I'm sure that will not be the last match we'll see between these two.
Yeah, I could see probably a lot more of these two going at it down the road. But MJF does get the win because they had like that multiple roll-up attempts, and then MJF just gets a good pinning situation on him to get the win.
And we predicted a win here for MJF. And he got it. It's just Jungle Boy also is another guy that I want to start seeing getting wins. I mean, I know it will come eventually. He's also a tag team technically.
Yeah, he'll get those tag team wins.
Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal, but soon he's probably going to be. Eventually, I'd imagine he'd become a singles guy.
It's just MJF right now needs to keep that steam rolling because he just came back from being competing on television.
It'll be interesting to see where they go from here because they could place him in that Battle Royale match on Wednesday, and then boom, he wins. He's back
he gets
with
the
Cody
title
again.
from Cody. We'll get to it later.
So, yeah.
Yeah, spoiler alert because that happens because that was the very next match after this is the TNT Championship match between Cody and Lance Archer.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about the two matches after this one, but I really wish they would have put one of those matches after this Jungle Boy match because it just felt like they put all the good matches all together, and then they had the two bad matches, and then they had the two good matches at the end. But I really liked the Lance and Cody match. It was really fun. The ending was kind of weird, but other than that, I really liked it.
And also the title that they talked about because they debuted the TNT title, but they said that it wasn't completed because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, so basically the belt owner. I mean, obviously there's a big situation with like mailing things and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it takes longer, and because that's like the main way of communication right now other than technology. But
yeah, and also I don't think guessing professional wrestling title making is in the essential business right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's an essential business, but I'm sure. I mean, I don't hate the belt. I'm not in love with it, but I think it's a solid belt. The red kind of is a little weird, but I kind of am turning my head on it. I think the belt's gonna look a lot better. Yeah, I mean, I really think the belt's going to look a lot better once it's finished.
Yeah, and also Mike Tyson apparently, I guess he wasn't as big as a role as we thought he was going to be going into it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing he did was just take his shirt off at the end there and scared away Jake the Snake, which was kind of funny. But yeah, there was a clip of they shot to him where he was like yawning, and I was like, really? Like, why are we? That's
He's
just like the
hey, I
guy.
mean, he was around like 10 o'clock. He's getting up there in age,
He
you
was
know.
probably there for a long time. Um, but yeah, it was a solid match. Obviously, Archer came out and just started destroying right away. He hit the what's it called?
Um,
I'm
like,
blanking on his finisher right now, but he hit his finisher right away.
oh yeah, the blackout.
Blackout. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very like the pretty much the very first move he did.
Yeah. He just wanted to end it early, and Cody, it's not how it's gonna go. So
And Lance
um,
dominated this match for the most part.
yeah, and then Cody kind of picked it up, but there were some spots where he just chucked Cody out of the ring.
Yeah,
Like,
because
well,
that's
yeah,
the good thing about Lance Archer is that like when he does these like slow, methodical, just dominating people, he can still make it interesting by just seeing all the feats of strength that he can do.
yeah, and then he did the moonsault off the rope. He walked the ropes again, um, which did play a role into the ending there, which was kind of cool to see. Um, but yeah, we kind of both. I predicted Archer, right? Or did you predict? Did you? I predicted
I
Archer.
think
Did you predict Archer?
yeah, I thought Archer was gonna win as well.
Yeah, so I kind of thought Cody would just put another person over again. I mean, Lance will still put over, but I mean, winning the belt and him taking the loss. But I was fine with it. I think Cody is probably like the perfect person to have it on for right now because of his ability to storytell and make that belt really meaningful. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure, TNT probably wanted Cody to have the belt to start off. So
yeah, probably.
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Obviously, the battle royale is coming up.
Yeah, also there is that the one move that probably scared me the most out of this entire match was that Cody did the he had like a front face lock from like the top rope and did like a
Um,
reverse superplex and like he like almost and like Archer almost died. Like he almost
yeah,
just like dropped straight on his head. It was really scary when I saw it happen.
yeah, that was a really brutal bump. He lances so big that it was hard for Cody to like really flip him over the full way that he
Yeah, cuz
normally
that's
does.
the
So
usual move that he usually hits in these
yeah,
matches.
he usually does it. It's just he's too big to get the full rotation of the move, so it did look a little bad there.
Mhm.
So. But yeah, it was a really solid match. Cody ended up getting the win there after not Archer, after Arn Anderson kind of got involved. And then they kicked him out, and then they kicked Jake out, and then, you know, one thing led to another.
Yeah, Cody
Cody,
reverses the blackout and
yeah,
he
Cody hit Crossroads.
two of them and then got the win.
I was surprised though that he won like that. I mean, it was just kind of weird to me. I don't think Archer's buried in any way. He's going to be fine. It'll be interesting to see where both of these people will go. Um,
Yeah, it's just a little interesting to think that like we've seen him use like the two crossroads in a row before, but like we've seen like Shawn Spears kick out of that.
yeah, I mean, Lance did take a beating a little bit before. It was like I don't know. It was just a good match. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it.
I don't really know where Lance Archer like where's he gonna go after this.
Yeah, you could go some ways. I'm trying to think of something in my mind right now. I mean, he could. I mean, I don't think they'll do this, but he could be in that battle royale again, and then just win it, and then take it off of Cody. But I don't think that'll.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
But
Maybe it'll be
that's
like a
all.
secondary contender to Moxley, like in between now and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Moxley could be an option, but it's like, how are you going to justify Lance to go for Moxley if he didn't? You
That's
know,
true.
it,
But that
it'll be. I don't know where they go.
yeah.
I'm trying to think.
So moving on to the next match afterwards. Well, they broke away. They had like a little interview with like the doctor of Britt Baker. And he said that that he found that the injury that Britt Baker sustained isn't too bad, but the doctor said the patient is very high maintenance.
Yeah, they did a
And
really good job of hide not of kind of turning that injury into a positive of some way.
mhm.
Um, I'm sure we'll look. Thank God that Britt didn't tear her ACL as
Yeah.
many people expected she did. She really got lucky. 6 to 8 months, I believe, is the timetable they said, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
So
but the Brit's supposed to appear on Dynamite, I think.
yeah,
This
I mean, I'm
Sunday.
sure she'll be cutting promos from wherever she's at. But they did really do. They did a good job of turning it into a positive situation.
Mm. The next match is Penelope Ford, the replacement for Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander, which was all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really watch. I saw the ending of this, but honestly, once Britt was hurt, they probably should have just scrapped the match as a whole, because I feel like matches with no meaning on a pay-per-view just kind of don't have a purpose. Like that would have been a good TV match, but not a pay-per-view
Mm,
match. Like it, because
that's true.
with Britt and Chris Statlander, you could play there was a meaning behind that, because Britt was giving her the mandible claw or whatever she calls it, in that fatal 4-way, and then there was a feud there. But with Penelope, and there was a little bit of a feud, but it
Because
wasn't.
they were in the, I think, like they were in that multi-woman match a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big enough feud to really be excited for a match on a pay-per-view. That was one match I think they could have cut out, and then the pay-per-view would have felt a little less long.
The most entertaining part for me was just Kip Sabian being with Penelope Ford, and he was like completely beat up with like 2 crutches and a neck brace, and had all this like tape on him, keeping him together.
Yeah, I'm not a big Kip Sabian fan, so kind of disappointed when I heard he was in the ladder match, but I knew he wasn't going to win. But it was just more of like, I wish they could have put Joe. I mean, I was hoping they would put Joey Janela and Phoenix in it, but obviously Phoenix got hurt, so Joey Janela replaced Phoenix. But I was hoping that Janela could be there instead of Kip Sabian. But yeah, I mean, it was an okay match. I think it would have been a really good TV match, but I think they could have cut this one out.
Yeah, because Chris Statlander wins with the Big Bang Theory anyway to keep her role ongoing.
Yeah, and then we'll get into this next match here, but
yeah, because the next match is Shawn Spears versus Dustin Rhodes, which was something. I'm not honestly, I don't even really know why like they did it this way, and I don't know how Shawn Spears is gonna go from here.
yeah, I thought they were gonna push Shawn Spears.
This is because this was a bad look for him. This is a really
Yeah, I
bad
don't
look for
know
him.
where you go from here as Shawn Spears. Like, I don't know what his I don't know if Shawn Spears obviously has he has the option to he gave the okay for this, so I don't know what he's thinking about this, but it's just kind of making him look weird and like a loser. Not I don't know, not a loser, but just a joke.
I mean,
Kind
to
of.
me, yeah, and to me, it kind of makes him like a joke and a loser, just from
Yeah.
how like they just kind of tore him down. They literally stripped him of pretty much all his clothes in this match.
Yeah, because
Which,
you went from him, not debuting, but you went from him, having that big feud with Cody as this mean kind of bruiser, just doesn't
like
care,
not,
but
yeah, like
totally.
not afraid to just literally smash someone over the head with a chair.
Yeah, and now, and now you're here. So again, a lot of questions to be answered, which is kind of a good. I mean, it's a great thing to know, to be excited for Dynamite, but I'm not really excited about this. But there's a lot of questions with this guy, so yeah, I don't, I don't.
Yeah, it was Dustin wins with the final cut, and it was just whatever.
It's I get it. You don't want Dustin to lose after he just got killed
By Lance Archer.
by Lance.
And they did the whole thing where it's like Spears came dressed up like he was not prepared to wrestle, and then Dustin music played, but he didn't came out. Then he came then the Kim music played again, and then he actually came out from behind, and then it was all one sided from there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even really. I don't have much to say about this because
Yeah, the match was just.
yeah,
That's the best way. It's just.
These last 2 matches that we just talked about here are kind of 2 matches that I think they could have cut off the show, or maybe had one on the pre-show. Like if what they could have done, like if they really wanted to keep all these matches, is swap the best friends match out for at least the Chris Statlander match and put them on the pre-show, because like with the best friends match, like there was a meaning for it. So I feel like that could have been a pay-per-view match because there was the winner gets a shot at the title. So that was probably like if they really didn't want to cut any matches out because they felt bad, I think that's the way they could have gone.
Yeah, I think switching the best friends match with the Statlander Ford match would probably make the most sense to keep.
Because like this Shawn Spears match at least had meaning going into it, so it kind of made sense. Whereas that match was just like they're just wrestling because Britt Baker got hurt. Like, I mean, obviously they feuded a little bit, but it wasn't storyline like big enough of a story.
Yeah, I just didn't think that Spears Dustin match was just gonna go the way it did.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it would actually be like a serious match, and
it was just Dustin embarrassing him, literally at one point slapping his bare butt.
I'm just hoping that somehow Shawn just disappears from TV, and then he shows up with the Revival or something, and they give it one, because I feel like if he's with the, I don't know though, because why would you want him with the Revival after he does this? So like, I don't know.
I don't know what he needs to go from here. He just needs something just to make himself interesting and serious again.
If I were him, I would just take a little break from TV for a while and maybe show up at like Fyter Fest or something. I don't know, something, but who knows what they're trying to do with this.
Yep. So after this match, they announced that All Out's going to be happening September 5th.
And I'm really excited for All Out because we're not doctors. We say this about every podcast now, but hopefully by then they can have some sort of a fan attendance. I mean, obviously the wrestlers are a great replacement to crowd noise, but it's still not the same. So
yeah, and I feel like the reason why they put it for such a late date, because they're giving us almost like 4 or 5 months until the next, I guess, big show.
Yeah,
is they're just waiting to see if things start opening up again and if they can go to like somewhere for this pay-per-view. I feel like that's the reason they're doing it.
It doesn't have to be a fully sold out crowd. Like just the fact that there's a crowd there, and probably the people that will go to this will probably be like the diehard fans because they're risking their life. I mean, who knows how it's going to be by then, but like they're literally risking health for them. So I'm pretty sure these fans would be pretty loud and obnoxious. So
yeah, they just want to see if they can go somewhere else to have the show. So that's why they probably pushed it to a very far off time.
Yeah. And with that being September 5th, you have a couple months here, and then they announce Fyter Fest is going to happen. So that's a good Fyter Fest will be kind of a good like filler of a pay-per-view to have, because like I feel like having like 3 months straight of Dynamite will just kind of like it'll build towards nothing.
Yeah, I feel like eventually we're just gonna get tired of seeing regular Dynamite.
So like you split that in half, so you have one half to go to Fyter Fest and the rest, like the fallout from Fyter Fest into All Out, which I think is the really smart way to do things.
Mm-hmm. So the next match is for the AEW Women's Championship. The no DQ, no countouts between Nyla Rose, the champion, versus Hikaru Shida.
And this was arguably the best women's match AEW's ever put on, and I think they both killed it.
I would say this was probably maybe my favorite women's match so far that AEW has produced.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think Shida's. I mean, those were definitely two of the best wrestlers on the roster, for sure. And Shida really is showing how good of a wrestler she is, and she's improved. Everyone's improving in the division, but Nyla Rose was good too. I mean, we both thought Nyla Rose was going to win, or no? Did we say that? Or did
you thought that Shida was going to win? I thought Nyla was going to win just because she hasn't been on the air too much.
Obvious. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to pick Shida also because we kind of had the same pick. So I was like, I'll just go against you for one of these. But I think Shida's a great person to have the belt on. Kind of maybe give a fresh restart to the whole division. And I don't know where Nyla goes from here. But
yeah, we have to see that.
I mean, I'm not really concerned because Nyla has shown great development as a character, and obviously that time that she had off there, I think she really revamped herself and it gave her some time to think of some things. And those two are arguably the best in the division. So I'm assuming they're not done yet, but I don't know if they fight again for the title or what happens.
I was gonna see Shida was dressed as Tifa from Final Fantasy for this match.
Yeah, Shida's really cool, and obviously
she seems like a pretty cool person.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just obviously with that whole the Japanese wrestler that tragically passed away. I think it was also a really special moment because I'm pretty sure Shida has wrestled with her. I'm almost positive of it. So I think it was really it had a lot of meaning till the whole match. Shida said she was going to dedicate that match to her before the match or something along those lines. So that was a really cool moment. And good match.
Yeah, they use the environment pretty well. Like they use a lot of the poker aesthetics that were going on with the stage today. Well,
it was
on
really
Saturday.
cool to see them, just use everything they could possibly think of, and to make the matches better. So
there's the poker table. They use the poker chips in the match, and the kendo stick I used a lot in this match.
Yeah, I mean, that was I kind of told you about that with the whole story about that because she was missing her kendo stick. She lost it, actually lost it. So, and then Nyla apparently found it, quote unquote, but it wasn't really the same one. But, it was really cool to see, Shida take this W, and it'll be a really good restart to the division. Hopefully, Big Swole was there. She really did play a big effect in a lot of the matches. We didn't really talk about her, but she was in the crowd,
she got really animated during that Cody Lance Archer match.
So I'm hoping she gets involved in the women's division this week coming up with Dynamite. Yeah, that'll be a good boost to the division, especially with Britt Baker gone. I think Swole will be a good replacement for while she's gone. And, hopefully, maybe an Anna Jay, the new signing that they did. Hopefully, there's some kind of new faces or travel bans lifted, and then maybe Riho could come back. A bunch of different things hopefully could happen to revamp the women's division.
Yes, because so Shida got the win with using the running knee, became the new AEW Women's Champion. So the next match is they listed as one of two main events for the night. Was the AEW World Championship match, John Moxley, the champion, versus Mr. Brodie Lee.
And what a match this was!
This match started out really fast paced for than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we talked about this last pod for the predictions and for the review before that this match is going to either be really good or it's going to be really bad, and there's not in between. I think it was really good, and this was the Brodie Lee that we've been wanting to see this whole time. And he's back. I don't know where he went, or where he was this whole time, but maybe he was just getting back to used to being in the ring because he wasn't wrestling for quite some time before he got signed. But yeah, it was really cool to see Brodie back, and it kind of gave me some flashbacks to the Shield and the Wyatt family. So
yeah, it was one of the better World Championship matches for AEW that they've had in a while.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like the other ones, I kind of feel like this one was pretty obvious too, but the endings for the other ones seemed pretty obvious as to who was going to win. But because it was kind of obvious, but there was I don't know, Brodie could win this. I don't know where they're going to go because Moxley was pretty much locked to win that title when he won it.
Yeah, when he went against Jericho, it seemed pretty obvious.
Yeah, this was the first one where it was I don't know, it could be either way.
Because that ending was fantastic. Because first, Moxley put him through the rampway with a paradigm shift. He gets put back in a ring. He, I think, did he cover him after that? I don't think he did.
After he got brought up out of the floor or whatever.
Yeah, out of the floor.
I think he took him straight into a paradigm shift.
Yeah, because he hit him with another paradigm shift. Then Brodie kicks out one. Then he hits with a second one. Then he kicks out at two. And then Moxley just chokes him out to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of worried about how they're gonna book this because either way we felt like either a wrestler would get put in a bad spot, but I think they did a really good job with that, and I think they kind of let Brodie still like have some sort of power into this because like he passed out, like he didn't get pinned, so um it was a safe way to book this, and I think Brodie's still one of a top competitor in the company.
Yeah, because he still hasn't been pinned yet in AEW.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows what's gonna again? Like, there's a lot of questions. Like, well, where do they go from here? So, they did a really good job of that.
Yeah, because it puts over that also Brodie is like a really tough guy than just him like doing a bunch of antics and kind of hiding behind the creepers like sometimes. This one really puts over that he's strong, tough guy that he can definitely take a bunch of damage from whoever he's going against.
Yeah, he had a really good. It was a really stiff match. There were a lot of spots there where it felt really painful. There was the spot where he suplexed. He suplexed. Why am I blanking on his name? That was a tough spot, and then there were a lot of outside spots,
Yeah, it was kind of
suplexes,
surprising.
and then they had that
I was kind
table
of surprised
spot
by how
too.
many times they've used a lot of outside like weaponry and like kind of stuff sometimes.
Well, yeah, I mean, why not? And Mox is always preaching. We talked about this too. Mox is always preaching about how it's going to be glorious violence, like bloody violence, whatever he says. And he wasn't lying this time. Brodie ended up bleeding and went through a floor. Or no, did Moxley? Wait, did Moxley put him through that, or did
Moxley
Brodie?
put Brodie through the floor.
So it really did follow up with what he was saying. So I mean, I really liked the match a lot. It was really fun to see.
Yeah, it really puts over Brodie. Like Brodie did not get beat by the paradigm shift because he just kicked out of it every single time. It really gets that over.
Yeah, no way.
No one else has ever done that yet.
It was I really like this match, and
I really like this match too.
And it was crazy because I was like, oh, oh wait, we still have the next match that we're going to talk about, which is the Stadium Stampede. But there were so many good matches here, and it was just like it just kept feeling like, oh, we still have this to come, we still have this, and yeah, this match kind of I was like, oh, we still have this whole Stadium Stampede thing gonna happen. So
yeah. Well, let's might as well get into it. The Stadium Stampede match between the Inner Circle and the Elite. And at this point, I feel like we're gonna try our best to say every single thing that happened because there's
it's gonna be
much
hard
to happen.
There's
so much.
So much. It was so good though.
Let's just get to let's just start at the very beginning. Because it starts with the Inner Circle and the Elite being introduced as football players, and the Inner Circle is literally dressed as a football team.
It killed me how they had Sammy and Ortiz wearing the helmets.
Football helmets.
And it's funny because like those are the two smallest guys in the. And, like I thought like Hager would be the person to wear the helmet, but they put him on Sammy and Ortiz, and Ortiz, everybody knows he has that poofy hair, the afro kind of thing. So I don't know how he got that helmet on, but it was really funny to see them all come out like that, and then the Elite came out, and everyone came out except for Hangman, and they're like, where's Hangman? They're talking to Kenny because Kenny's the one that would know, and Kenny
says,
oh,
he goes, oh, it's happening.
Yeah, he said you'll see or something, and then they're like, okay.
And then the match starts with Aubrey blowing a whistle, and then both teams at both ends of TIA Bank Field just charging at each other like a battle.
Yeah, you know what? I saw someone put a video. The music of the Civil War, the Avenger or Cap, whatever. I'm not a big movie guy, but they put the Civil War theme, like the theme from that airport scene or whatever, and they just started charging at each other, and it was funny because. Man,
it's just ridiculous to see these guys just charge at each other across a football field.
Because this is the moment. This is the moment that like they've been both waiting for. They've never been at like the full Inner Circle, and the Elite have never been at full strength because the Bucks have been gone, Hangman's been gone, and then Matt Hardy came. Like they've never been at full strength for a while. So it was really cool to see them finally, meet. And I knew. this was not just going to be on the field, and we'll get into it because there's a lot of stuff
yeah.
like I said, but a really fun start.
And then we see the arrival of Hangman Page as he arrives on the horse and chases after Sammy Guevara because, of course,
Yeah, oh man, I love Sammy. So I talk about
Sammy has had a rough past couple weeks, hasn't he?
No, but completely respect it because he's doing this all for the like the company. Like he doesn't care. Like he knows what gets over, and he's willing to put his body on the line for like the past couple weeks. So I really respect him for that. And he's really has grown majorly since he started out in AEW. And
Oh yeah, because everyone thought it was just like, oh, what's this dude wearing a panda?
yeah, they're like, oh, what's this guy in a panda outfit or what a panda head? And then Chris Jericho really helped him, develop. And yeah, it was just really funny seeing Sammy get chased by Hangman on the horse, and it was like, oh no. And then they go back to the back, and then they focus on everybody else. So then it was
because there was some action that. Yeah, because there was some action that took place in the ring that was on the 50-yard line, but not many, not at all.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but it was just funny how I feel bad for those guys. They set up that whole ring just to hardly use it. But
oh yeah, and also the fact that they had on the sidelines, they had like the Jacksonville Jaguars mascot. They had the drum line, the cheerleaders.
Yeah, it was Tony Khan was like, you know what, we're going all out. I don't care what happens, and it was the best decision to do that.
Because because like besides that they have like the end zone set up with the elite and the inner circle and stuff like that, and like the AEW logoing and stuff, they also just basically had the stadium set up for like a regular Jaguars game.
Yeah, it was so cool, man. Like it's so fortunate that Tony, his dad they own the Jags, so yeah, it was really cool to see, and we'll get into. We're still in the beginning of this thing, but
it really is just the beginning.
Yeah, so you can lead us into the next part of this match.
Yeah, because Sammy escapes Hangman, and he makes his way back to everybody else on the field, and then that's where
weren't they all chanting his name?
Yeah, because Jericho starts a Sammy chant, and then the cheerleaders start in as well with the Sammy chant, which was awesome.
Yeah, because he's the Spanish god. Like he's like Chris Jericho always calls him like a sex god or whatever. So it was really funny the symbolism there.
Yeah, so of course Sammy escapes Hangman, and then of course this leads to Hangman then going to the bar.
Yeah, he's strolling around, calling for Sammy's name, and he's like, he stops, and I'm like, why do you stop? And then you look over at the sign and it says bar this way or whatever.
It's like the east side lobby or whatever.
Yeah, so they're like, then the announcers are so good. JR, I liked on this. I mean, a couple too many football references, but this is like JR's heaven. It's like football and
football and wrestling. That's
like JR's heaven right there. And he maybe if there was like barbecue or something involved, he would also really like it, but there wasn't. But Hangman just walks to the bar and it's like, oh, this is perfect. And then immediately I knew they were gonna have a bar fight or something.
And that's what they would eventually have. But everyone eventually at this point is where everyone kind of starts separating off into their own portions of this match, where everyone kind of goes off to their own thing.
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, I keep saying it was so fun, but they did so many cool spots.
This is where like Omega and Hardy break off with the Proud and Powerful as they go to like the upper deck level area of the football field.
Yep, and they're fighting. Santana Ortiz gets
thrown to recycling.
Salt or sand. They were throwing salt or sand. I don't know what it was. into Omega's face and Hardy's face.
Yeah, Ortiz got slammed like the recycling bins.
Yeah, and then one of the announcers were like, it was a trash can, and then someone said it's a recycling bin or something. Or it was like, what are we doing here?
Omega got powerbombed into a barricade that was like stood up on these tables that look pretty pretty tough.
But I mean, we didn't even get to the pool spot yet.
Yes, and now we'll get to it right now because Matt Hardy gets thrown into the pool by Proud and Powerful, which I forgot which one of us said that he doesn't know how to swim.
Ortiz, the smaller one.
Yeah, and like the pool was only like 6 feet or
No,
whatever.
it was. I think it was 4 feet. Like I don't even think it was 6 feet. It was literally like standing. Like you could see your like you were
It was like
fine. You
knee
don't even.
deep.
Yeah. And he got scared and he slowly went down the ladder. Like he didn't jump in. He slowly backed down to the ladder. And then
And then this is when they decide to start choking Matt Hardy in the pool,
yeah,
which we find out has ties to the Lake of Reincarnation.
and I was like, oh no, because I saw them put his head down there, and then he changed, like he was changing outfits, and I was like, this is Matt Hardy's like
Yeah,
this is what Matt Hardy has wanted when he left WWE. He's wanted all the creative freedom, and
yeah,
like this is exactly what he wants, and you can tell like how much he loves doing it. So it was really cool to see him come up as different, versions of Matt Hardy.
At first he was the classic Matt Hardy with the Hardy Boys, and then he went back down and started choking him again. And he came up. Well, this is when Proud and Powerful knows there's Matt Fax on the screen, and then he turns up and it's Matt Hardy V1, and which I popped hard for that.
Yeah, it was. There were so many good spots, and then there was a spot where he was they were drowning him under the water, and he was like sitting there smiling with like a thumbs up or
Yeah,
whatever.
because he was doing like the Matt Hardy V1 finger pose, and then he was doing the Hardy Boys kind of like finger thing.
Yeah, they really killed this segment. Also, this was taped. We didn't really talk about that, but I think they did a
Oh
really
yeah,
good job of taping this because it allowed them to do things like this and throw editing stuff in there, and it was really cool how they did
yeah,
it.
that's where they had the Matt Fax. Where I think at one point it said like Matt Hardy can hold his breath underwater for like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's true, but it's Matt Hardy, so I mean,
Yeah, because obviously this match had to have been recorded
oh, yeah, it
previously,
was for sure.
because they had so many people, so many things were involved in this match, and they had like 5 referees.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw on social media, but they had a video with like all the referees, like an interview, like how they're going to be able to handle this, and they're like, we don't know. Like they were like, yeah, we don't really know. I don't know what to expect, and they were just like they didn't know what to do. So yeah, everyone veered off into their own paths. They did a really good job of that. And then they get out of the pool. They slam. That was when they slammed Omega, I think, after the pool thing.
So
And then,
the power bombed was before the pool.
oh, okay. And then didn't they? Oh, yeah, yeah. And then they get to the bell, right?
Yes, that was when Matt rings the bell on Ortiz, and Ortiz like convulses.
Yeah, he's so good at that. Like before this happened, like any time in a match, he would always do that. And like this time, he did it to like the extreme, and it was so funny.
He was like almost put into like a vegetative state by the sound of the bell.
And then they put him in the wheelchair and then duct taped him, and then he was
Chair
just
of
rolling
wheels.
himself there, and he was like freaking out all the rest of the match. And then they slowly get to the ice machine.
Yes,
Ortiz is in the back, like help, help! Like he's sitting there in the wheelchair. And
still
then
with like his arms like frozen in like a position.
yeah, and then they get to the ice machine. They throw Santana in the ice machine to get revenge for what happened to Matt. And then
Yeah, they lock him in there.
they put the broom in there or whatever to lock the ice machine so Ortiz or Santana can't get out. And then
And then I'm pretty sure then it cuts over to Jake Hager for a moment, because that's when he decides he finds Hangman's horse.
I was like, what are they gonna do with this? I didn't know if like Hager was just gonna get like really like a sweetheart and start petting it or something. I think that would have been funny. Because not Hangman. If did I say Hangman? If Hager,
Yeah,
it would be funny just because Hager's kind of funny with the stupid, like if he acts stupid. So like I think it would have been funny if he was like, "Oh, a horse,"
like
or
that's
like
where he
started
sees.
petting it, and then
Yeah,
he
and then
realized what it was.
he
But,
sees the East Club lobby, and that's where he knows that's where Hangman is. So he goes after him. They share a drink for a moment, and then they
yeah,
begin to fight.
they're like, are you here to fight or to drink? And then I think Hangman said both, and then this is where everything just a classic bar fight, like a modern bar fight, in an updated like an updated bar.
Yeah, where Kenny comes in, they start smashing beer bottles in Hager's face, and he
They did
just
that so many times. There were so many bottles that they used. I was surprised. They
he
just kept
just kind of
smashing. And
he
it
just
really,
takes them all.
and it really kind of helped Hager out because they're like, oh, he's still standing after all these, these bottle shots to the head. But and then they did
like,
the buckshot lariat, like the
yeah,
improvised buckshot lariat, which I think was really cool.
where like he had to do like a front flip on over Omega's back to be able to get the flip to get the buckshot lariat.
Yeah, but before that, did they do the pool table area? Or was that
Oh
before?
yeah, the pool table one where Hager slammed the Hangman onto the oh, that's what it was. Hager did that. He did like a cow, like the thing where you put him Hangman on the bar table and then like slid him down.
Yeah,
At one point.
it was this segment was
This match was so crazy. There's so much stuff that was going on. You're like Hangman slamming him on the getting slammed onto a pool table, which looked really painful.
Yeah, and then they hit him with the pool stick too. And did he break it? I don't know if he broke the pool stick, but
They broke the pool stick over Hager.
yeah. And so we get to that, and then they kind of finish off. How did they finish off Hager again?
I think that was the buckshot lariat.
Buckshot lariat, and then Hangman jumps over the bar and then shares a drink with Omega. I don't know if Omega doesn't drink, or if I'm guessing he doesn't because he had milk. But
yeah, he drank milk.
Yeah, so he gave him milk, and then Hangman had whiskey or whatever it was, and they, cheered. They took you to another. I don't even know where it went from here.
This is where it cuts out to the Young Bucks fighting Jericho and Sammy.
Oh, and this was the best because the Matt started doing those Northern Light suplexes,
and they go. You eventually find out the whole field, 100 yards.
To get the touchdown. But it was funny because they kept cutting back and forth, and like they'd be like, because Jericho and Nick were on the other side of the field, and then Sammy and Matt were on the other side, and then like while that was going on, they'd pan over and they'd still be going down the field.
Oh, he's at midfield now.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then Jericho, classic Jericho.
He does this petty thing with the referees. Like he even challenges the
she threw the challenge flag, and then they went into the tent.
I love that they did that.
Yeah.
They went into
before the tent. That wasn't that when he did like the elbow to the mascot?
Yeah, he did the Judas effect to the mascot.
That looked brutal too. Like he actually hit that pretty hard. I wonder. I need an injury report on him too, on the mascot too, along with Phoenix and Britt Baker. So
hey, the mascot got the big puffy head thing, so I think he was able to take that pretty well.
And then he found a cone. Jericho found a cone and put it on his head again and did the witch laugh, which is so funny. It's just classic Jericho.
Jericho just does such random things sometimes, and it's always funny whenever he just does
and it'll end up being merch, like sellable merch too. Some of the things, like they made that into a shirt when he did it the first time.
Yeah, and when he got the with Sammy getting Northern Light suplex across the field, after he made it all the way to the end, he got the touchdown and the celebration dance.
And then it was excessive celebration, and then Bryce Remsburg threw the flag for it, and then Matt just super kicked him in the face.
Yeah, I think he also did the I forgot. He did the dance with the. I forgot they referenced
the cabbage. I don't know what it's called, but it's not the Cabbage Patch. I don't know dances like that, but he was dancing, excessively celebrating. Apparently,
according to that referee.
Yep.
So this continues on with all this all this random fighting because there's at one point where they this is that part where they dive onto Jericho through I think a table at one point.
And it was so funny because not Hangman, jeez. Nick went running up the stairs. I was like, where is he gonna jump off or something?
Went all the way up.
But he just literally ran up the stairs just to come down slowly as a joke. Like it was definitely just to be funny. He came slowly running down the stairs, and then he just jumped off. Like he could have just did it normally. And it would have been fine.
And then after that, Hangman does make his way back to the field with a line marker, and he just drives right over Jericho.
He just runs straight over him, just clear as day, didn't care. And the Young Bucks are kind of just sitting there.
And he didn't do it fast. He just did it really slowly and just went over him.
You could see Jericho did not want to laugh. He was trying not to laugh the whole time when that happened. But
Yeah, and then after this, Omega and Hardy got back into the go. Oh, this Sammy is starting. Oh yeah, Sammy starts getting back up,
he
and
wakes
he's
up.
slowly crawling his way back. He gets hit
No,
by the
because
sprinkler system.
because the sprinklers or whatever, the
Yeah,
sprinklers woke him up, and he's like, "I won."
and you're just like slowly crawling across the field trying to get back up, and the sprinkler system turns on. He gets waked up. He thinks he won, but then Omega and Hardy get back into the golf cart and
Yeah,
chase him again.
he like is like in a dream, and then he like slowly like opens his eye, like really, and then he's like, wait, he hears that golf cart. He probably has like PTSD or whatever. So he heard the golf cart. He just started running. It was the same exact scene, just on a football field. But he
But
didn't.
this time he was able to escape. This time he was able to hop over the wall to escape the golf cart.
Which leads to the final spot
At
of
the
the
very end, we find out this is where he starts getting up to, I guess, where like one of the cameramen would probably put up their like their thing for like the
for
field goal
the
kicks. And they get all the way up there. This is where they start getting. I think there's like a ladder gets involved at one point.
yeah. This was a crazy spot.
And so Omega, Sammy starts getting a fight with I think with Hardy at one point. I think.
Yeah, because Sammy chased him, but then Sammy just started kicking people, and then he literally was choking out Matt Hardy, saying, "I'm gonna kill you," and I was like, "What is going on?"
And
And
then
then
the arrival of Neo 1, the new Vanguard 1
yeah,
drone.
what did that even do? Like it just showed up,
It
like
showed up and distracted Sammy
yeah, and
because
then
he thought he destroyed the drone, but it's back again.
yeah, and then Kenny got up there.
And then hits a one-winged angel on Sammy
It was
into like a
far.
bunch of boxes. It was very far.
I didn't know, like, because they didn't show you where he was going until they were like midair. Like I saw him jump, and I was like, okay, where is this taking them? And
It
then
was a very far distance. It was like a
yeah.
story almost.
Well, Sammy tweeted this morning. He said, "I woke. Have you ever felt like you woke up like you just got thrown off a building? Because he has to be in pain for sure after that."
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then that would eventually get the win for the Elite, and they give Omega a Gatorade bath.
yeah, that was really funny. But my Sting prediction didn't happen. I was kind of upset.
Sting prediction did not happen.
But my Brian Cage one did, so I'll take it. I love Brian Cage. But yeah, it was a really I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get a match like this ever again in a stadium like this.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was over the top. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was amazing, entertaining for
Yeah,
that
it
match.
was I think this is like once in a lifetime match. I think this match will really play a huge role in AEW viewership and like followers, fans, whatever. So on social media, this had a lot of people's eyes, like this match and the whole pay-per-view. So, because like right now, what else are you going to be watching? And I think this pay-per-view was crucial for AEW, to draw the fans in, and I think they did a really good job of it.
Everyone was talking about online pretty much all night, especially that Stadium Stampede match was probably got the most attention from everybody.
It was literally the street fight that they did, but like 10 times crazier.
It was just blown to out of proportion. Immensely.
And again, it'll be interesting to see where this takes the inner circle. It'll be interesting to see where this takes the Elite, because like where do both sides go?
I bet they're gonna have another match against each other, because I bet Cody wants to do Blood and Guts, because they were wanting to do that earlier, but they couldn't because of the coronavirus. But I know Cody probably really wants to do it.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I don't know if you heard this or not. I'm pretty sure you didn't, because you didn't hear about Fyter Fest. But Tony Khan also said that Fyter Fest this summer is supposed to be in London. So they were going to go overseas for their first pay-per-view, or their first pay-per-view overseas. So it's a real big shame, because he said they had a lot of good matches planned, and they still do, but it's unfortunate, that they couldn't do it in London. So, but I'm sure they'll get there eventually. It's just obviously a terrible time we're in right now, but it's slowly getting better, it seems like. But yeah,
things are slowly getting better.
Yeah, it's just we got to be patient, and I think once fans come back, we'll the longer. I don't know. I think the importance of fans will be shown whenever they make it back. So,
Mhm.
and I'm sure fans have been waiting. Like all of us have been waiting to go back to wrestling events. So I think the fans will be really fired up whenever that first event would be.
Yeah, and this show really opened up a lot of new pathways for where AEW could go now.
Yeah, like I said, like every match, I said, like, where do you go from here? Even if it was in a bad way with Shawn Spears, but like they gave us a lot of questions that make you want to watch more, and that's something that I really like about AEW and what they do.
I would say like if for what could be like the match of the night for I guess the most I would put for the most regular match of the night, I would put the AEW World Title and
Yeah,
then
I would.
or the ladder match and then because the Stadium Stampede's in a league of its own.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't like that was a match, but like, and it wasn't normal. Like it wasn't, it was taped. They had some edited edits
Special
in
effects
there.
and stuff.
Like a singles match, I think I agree with you on that. I kind of think MJF and Jungle Boy is kind of being overlooked a little bit because of
It's the
what else
underrated
happened
match.
in this show. I think they put on a good of a match as Cody and Lance did. Like I think it's pretty close to me, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, the
between
Cody
those
Lance
two.
match is also pretty high up there as well.
Yeah, and then you also had the ladder match, which I mean we won't count that, but there were some fun spots there. The women's match was good too. Like, I mean the championship women's match was
Yeah.
good. But yeah, I'm really excited for Dynamite this week. We're gonna see a lot of
You get to see who gets to go. We get to see who goes against Cody next.
Yep, and we'll see that. Maybe a debut. I don't think the 90 days are over for all of those wrestlers, but for a
Yeah.
guy like Drew Gulak who can wrestle immediately, he could be in it.
I think they said they're supposed to see Britt Baker appear to talk on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
he got that. I'm sure there's going to be something with Hangman and Omega because
Now that they're back.
they're going back to the tag division now. What else is there?
We'll probably start
see where
building up
Lance
the best
Archer-
friends.
Yeah, we'll see where Lance Archer goes. There's a lot of questions to be answered. I'm interested to see if anyone debuts. I mean, the Revival can come now. We'll see if the Revival show up. There's a lot of fun things that AEW has in store, and unfortunately, like they knew going in, and everyone kind of saw like that January, like when that cage match happened, like from then until now was like the prime time for AEW, and it's like unfortunate that no fans were there because I feel like a lot of those spots would have got a lot of. I mean, besides the Stadium Stampede, I mean, who knows? If you think about it, the Stadium Stampede match wouldn't have happened if this whole thing the whole pandemic didn't happen.
That's
so that's
true.
the one positive I can kind of take away from it.
Yeah, which is kind of weird thinking about that.
Yeah, because they probably just did blood and guts, but now we get to see two probably matches between them.
Yeah, because I bet they still want to do that.
Who knows when blood and guts will happen? I mean, you could probably get two other factions to go head to head, but I mean, obviously everybody wants to see the Elite and the Inner Circle. So,
And also we get to see more with the Death Triangle.
Yeah, I mean, again, hopefully a travel ban is lifted because Phoenix is in America. He's hurt right now, but I think he's fine. Tony Khan said he's fine. He should be good, maybe by this week. But besides that, Pentagon's in Mexico, Pac's in England. So, where do you, I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of just have to wait and see. But I know I saw today, it just broke also that sports are close to getting an appeal for players to travel cross country to come and play. So, like, I hope they could do the same thing with wrestling and throw wrestling in there. But
so yeah, we just have to see what happens this week because it's gonna be a very big episode Dynamite this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. We'll be there to review it the following day.
You give some commentary on Thursday. We'll be up by Thursday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. My name is Shawn DeLong.
I'm Justin Bradley.
You've been listening to the AEW Rewind podcast.